This is Samuel Jacob Kirchner, Voice of the Breeze, welcoming you to our Saturday morning live stream meditation hangout. I'm starting with some summer music.
Just won't work on you. I got my mojo working. No, just won't work.
Yeah, so this song is about I got my mojo working, but it doesn't work on you. Imagine. So what do we do about that? Well, first of all, you're lucky you got your mojo working, because I don't know that everybody or most people have their mojo working. Without defining now what mojo is, I assume everyone has their sense of what a mojo is. For me, it's our joie de vivre, our passion, our joy of living. The most important thing in life, of course. So, but here is the thing. Sometimes when you have your mojo working for you, and you're trying to make it work on someone else, there might be a little problem there. So I'm going to get right into it and tell you about an instant this week that I had in which my mojo was working all right, but I was trying to work it on someone and it didn't work. In other words, I wanted someone to do something for me, and I was trying to do it through my mojo, sort of like sweet persuasion, without any words. And it didn't happen. What I wanted to happen didn't happen. And then on top of it, kind of a little personal, so I'm not getting into the details, but just imagine, being in a situation in which you want something from someone that you think is in the range of possibilities, and that you're actually even paying for it. But it's an extra, it involves mojo, it involves charm, it involves some extra kindness, maybe some extra spiritedness. And they don't acquiesce in it. They don't give it to you. That was the case for me. And then I got stuck with the notion, because I was working my breath the whole time. I was really aware of my breathing. I was reaching out to my breath and asking my breath to support me in getting what I thought I was entitled to get. And yeah, the goods were not delivered. And now I was stuck not only with what didn't work here, but I was also stuck with what's wrong with me. Was there something wrong with me that I wanted? Something? Was I greedy? Was I inconsiderate? Was I selfish? Yada, 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 yada. And then what came to me, which really is completely an acknowledgement of the practice, of the daily practice, is that I realized that I need help with this situation. I need help to sort it out because I was stuck here in the disappointment that the slot machine didn't work. But maybe it didn't work because it wasn't supposed to work. But there I had some adjustment to do because I was stuck in the what's wrong with me that it didn't work and I needed to deal with that. And the way I dealt with it is I reached out to the breath and I asked the breath to help me sort it out rather than to continue condemning myself and figure it out in my head and condemning the other person that was involved, and getting into this whole, um, conflict. What's wrong? The moment I reached out to the breath for support, for help, something started to change in my mentality. I realized that I deserve to have compassion for, failing at getting what I wanted. And that in by itself, having compassion for myself, which I couldn't really give to myself, but the breath was very helpful, of course, because the breath is compassion, is spacious, is love. So once I asked, I reached out or I reached in, not sure yet. It's a reaching out initially, but it's a reaching in. You're reaching in yourself. Um, and as always, whenever I ask the breath for intervention, for compassion, for love, for space, for acceptance, I always receive it in ways that I can't figure out beforehand, but I do. And then I really felt very gentle and happy. Yeah, I was okay. In very short time, I was able to get through this situation without residues. It dissolved. And I was back in the flow. I was back in the present. I can't say enough about how amazing it is to me every time when I realize that how challenging it is for me and for everybody I know to give up the notion that we have to figure things out in our head, that there is something there. If I just think hard enough, I'll figure it out. And yet we keep walking in the same maze of that kind of like compulsive thinking. And nothing really happens with it, at least for me. I don't resolve things in my head. But when I engage this other power, the power of my higher power, the breath, it's as if something in the software of the intelligence changes, it expands, and I know what to do. I simply follow the pace of the breath. And I trust that. I trust it. I haven't felt deceived yet. So here I had a little detour to make. But still, when I even asked the breath, I reached out to the breath to help me to resolve the conflict I had with myself now. I got the compassion I needed. and the gentleness and the spaciousness and the love. That's why I like breathing love. It's going directly for the source. And we are part of the source. So why would the source not want to replenish and support and empower a part of it, which is us? So I think that this week I had a couple of instances in which I had to, I do that daily, asking, what is my work about? I like to come up with these words. They're not just words, they are words with a meaning. And I had to ask that question today when I was asked by a hospital that I did some work with the staff. I did some training of the breeds with the staff of a children's hospital. And now they are ready to hire me to do some work with the children. It involves, of course, a couple of negotiations. But I have to send the proposal. And, I don't have like some extensive training in working with kids. But it seems like in the last couple of years, I've been doing some work with kids. I taught at a high school in Long Island a couple of years ago, 90 kids, and it went quite well. I'm noticing that as I'm growing older in some crazy way, I have much more of a rapport with kids as I do with dogs, as I do with nature. There is this recognition, the recognition that I used to feel that I never got from adults, like being seen, being heard, being honored. I give it now. I give it to myself, so I'm giving it to kids, of course. And it's amazing their response to it. So when I was thinking, what do I have to offer really to kids in a mental facility, in a mental hospital? They're troubled. These are kids, these are teenagers. I think the greatest gift that we can receive in this life is the gift of ourselves, the gift of our soul, being connected to the soul, to who we are, the ones we've been waiting for. And I just think it's an amazing thing, and in this time particularly, where the world is so stressful, and if you already have a hard time being with yourself, right now you have so many choices of people, places, and things that you can fill your emptiness, your void with, and get further away, distracted from being yourself, being connected to your soul, to who you are. There's nothing like it. When I think of all my childhood and my life, in which I was always seeking for that, but I didn't know how to. And so, of course, I got involved in relationships, and there were so many things out of myself that temporarily, yeah, they filled the void. But then, they stopped filling the void, and I had to hang out with my void in a state of depression. I'm not highly recommending that, But it so happens that through having to really be with myself, I had to go through the pain and the anguish and the despair and the fear of self, the autophobia that I had, to come to a place today that I am delighted to be with myself. Of course, I get lonely sometimes, but you know, I really realize that when I get lonely, I really get lonely for myself, for my soul. So much of the work that we are doing here is really addressing that, addressing how to have yourself, how to be with yourself, how to be your best friend, how to have a wonderful relationship with yourself. So, as you know, or you don't, the 5 steps of the breeze are a practice that is there to address that, to bring our body, mind, and soul to a connection of unconditional love. So I'm going to invite you to join me. I will practice too, of course, because I don't want to miss a moment of practice. I'm going to invite you to dialogue with the soul through the 5 steps of the breathe. Breathe. Just follow the instructions as best as you can, and this can be done actually with movement and also pay attention, visualizing it to your breath. Breathing in through the nose, breathing out through the nose. Notice the air brushing your nose as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Feel the breath in your body. Do you notice any struggle in your breath? Open your heart to the breath and let the breath wash clear and heal the struggle in your breath. Let the pulsation of your breath become a micro movement and spread throughout your body, shaking like a hummingbird and awakening. Shake your wrists and toes. Your arms and hands. Your legs. Your pelvis. Your belly. Your chest. Your neck and shoulders. And your head. Shake from the core Become one with the breath, allowing the breath to breathe you as you are flowing like a river and letting go of control, of judgment, being one with the breath and the music. Have a dialogue with your soul. Standing like a tree and making space with your legs spread shoulder width apart and your arms open like branches of a tree and your knees bent. Open your heart to the breath and make space. Create space on the inside for what you're distracted by on the outside. Have compassion for yourself. You're doing your best. Soften the grip. Allow the breath to permeate every part in your body that is feeling tense, achy, constricted. Are you ready to make real and be present your experience now? Walk like an elephant with grace, with your right hand on your heart and your left hand on your belly. Start walking, following the pace of your breath and the pulsation of your heart. Walking into the present, making sacred your experience. Moment by moment, breath by breath. Dialoguing with your soul. Are you ready to dance and celebrate? Celebrating the sacredness of being alive now. Of being love, connected to the soul, one with life. Well, how do you feel? That's my idea of connecting with the soul, with the ones we've been waiting for. And I know for me, I don't want to miss one breath of the 20,000 that I do every day, that I breathe every day. I don't want to miss one breath and waste it on not being conscious, on not connecting to the soul. Because, I really believe that the breath connects us to the soul. Conscious breathing, that is, breathing love. So how do you feel? Do you feel a difference? And would you like to learn more of this? And you can also share it with the people in your life and the world. Right now, I feel that taking care of my soul the way I do, it makes my energy be very different out there in the world. It's not the same. I'm offering something, I'm exuding something, and people respond to it, and it's very powerful. And in today's world, I don't have to tell you, we need more of that. We need more demonstrators of that which other people promise, in the future. We need to demonstrate it now in our own life, our own energy. If you want more information about the breeze, please go to thebreeze, breaze.com, and you can find out about all our different offerings. And we are starting now on Facebook a group of artists of living, which is the community of the people who are doing this particular focus of practice. And it's a forum that you can join. At the moment it's on Facebook, but soon will be available also on the website and on a portal that we are building to voice your how do you practice connecting to your soul and ask questions and share experiences. And soon we will have a place, a virtual place online that you could come and do exactly what we just did right now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So it's time to say bye bye. This is Samuel Jacob Kirshner, voice of the breeze, wishing you a day filled with joy, presence, oxygen, and ease.